What's going on, family? Peace and love. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Today on our Elevation Talks, I have a very jam-packed one today. Oh, see my hair a little different. Trying to grow it back, but have a jam-packed one today. I cannot promise you the length of time on this one, so let's get right into it. I want to talk about Hollywood, and I'm not talking about what goes on in Hollywood. You can kind of look into that for yourselves, or actually kind of think about that for yourselves as I go through Hollywood. But for years, man, I've been trying to figure out what is Hollywood, like the sign, the word, why Hollywood. And I always used to tell myself, oh, it means, holy, at least take one of those L's off, Hollywood, and you got Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles. I was like, well, they can't exactly mean that if Los Angeles, city of Los Angeles, then how is it holy? Okay. It bothered me for years, y'all. And so God finally gave me an epiphany, man, and I finally got some hearings and some understandings of it. So I'm gonna break down that word. Then I'm gonna show y'all a jam-packed video of pictures after pictures after pictures to prove Hollywood. All right, let's start with the first. Matter of fact, let's start with the last thing, the suffix of that word, because it's a two-part word, holly and wood. Let's start with wood first. What is wood? You use it for building material. Wood is used to build. It is literally material, and it means that wood literally means material in certain languages. You know what wood is. You go outside, you chop a tree down, you see some trees, it's wood. Wood, material, used for material. That's the simple fact. That's the simple part. Hollywood, we know what wood is, for material. Now, what about holly? Now, some of y'all may know what holly is, but I didn't exactly know what holly was until I looked it up, and then I was like, oh yeah, I know what it is. Holly is a plant. It's a plant that has berries on it, black or red, and it's that spiky plant. You know that spiky leaf? You might see it during Christmas time for decorations. Holly. So I was like, okay. So I looked more into that, and I learned that holly, that plant is actually, it resembles and it represents, because of the Christmas time, represents the blood of Christ, the red berries. And then this is what took me for a loop. The prickly thorns on that leaf for holly represents the crown that was placed on Christ's head during his crucifixion. Now that one made me do some more deeper research. So you mean to tell me a crown that represent the prickly leaf represents the crown that was placed on Christ's head, and as he bled, that blood, Christ's blood is what the red berries represent from the holly plant, off the holly tree. Well, it's actually called a LLEX, lynx tree, over 600 species of plants. You can look at that yourself, but still. So I was like, well, what was Christ's crown made out of? Wood. And now I was like, whoa, Hollywood. Then it gets trickier. So the pricklies plant leaf represents those pricklies wood on Christ's head, and then when he bled, the red berries represents the blood. Why would we name a town Hollywood if that's literally representing Christ's crucifixion as when he bled and then ultimately died? And then I kept going on to read and said, it's to shame and to mock Christ. That's what the crown was worn for. They said, oh, he's a king, right? King of the Jews. King of kings. Put a crown on his head. This prickly wood gonna mock him. Cut him up. Hollywood named this, I don't even know. I've never been to Hollywood, but this place is named to mock and shame Christ. Now, if you still don't believe me, what do we do in Hollywood? Everything that goes on in Hollywood, they mock and shame Christ all day long. From music, entertainment, actors, actresses, it doesn't matter, y'all. And so I'm thinking, why would somebody say, I want to go to Hollywood and be famous? I'll tell you why. When you go to Hollywood and be famous, you get some monies, right? So that's your why. But behind it, the symbolism behind it blows my mind. Bob goes to Hollywood. Bob gets deep in Hollywood and he starts getting his fame and he's mocking Christ with everything that he does. Bob was literally the material that is used to mock Christ. That's the wood. Now, Hollywood, broken down, is to shame Christ, to mock Christ, material. Hollywood, material used to mock Christ. And guess who's the material? They are. If you're in Hollywood, you are. You are literally the material used and built up to mock Christ. Hollywood. All right. And give some videos some time to show you some of these entertainers that literally mock Christ on everything that they do. Okay, so this is my buffer just to give you these little pictures. Okay, now let's move on. The holly plant is often misconstrued as the mistletoe, but it's not the mistletoe. The mistletoe is something different. But you can use holly to decorate for Christmas time. To decorate for Christmas time. Okay. We have been told, and now that we're getting older, we know it's a lie, that Christmas is the birth of Christ. Okay. Let me give you this picture right here. So, Christ's crucifixion and his trial. Well, let me start. Let me start there. The trial and the crucifixion, right? So his crucifixion was done on what they called a Saturnalia festivities, done during Saturnalia festivities. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. So I had to look it up. Saturnalia festivities, to celebrate the god of Saturn. Whoa. Celebrate the god of Saturn? I'm going to put all this up. So if this is the birth of Christ, then why was it done in the pagan traditions to celebrate the god of Saturn? And mentioning of pagans, who was the one that crucified Christ? Who was the one who did these celebrations? Romans. The Romans. Now, you may say Christ wasn't crucified in Rome. No. It says Jerusalem. But who held his trial? Pontius Pilate. From Rome. This is the Roman Empire. I can't make this up. So, a Roman tradition to celebrate Saturnalia festivities, crucifixion of Christ, to mock him, placing a crown on his head, and he's bled, and we got Hollywood. We're going to make a whole town, city, place of entertainment based off of this crucifixion. And by the way, let's lie and say Christmas is for Christ's birthday. So we got so many different things in here. I told you this one was jam-packed. You got Christ's birthday, which we know that was a lie, but is actually celebrating Christ's death. And they even go and say that Christians had adopted this. Christians had adopted this? Do we even know what we've adopted as a Christian. You've adopted a Saturnalia, if I'm pronouncing that right, a festival. The celebration of the god Saturn, that's not Jesus Christ. So y'all be very careful with what you're doing. Oh, and matter of fact, I forgot to mention that holly is something oftentimes the Druids used it. I do not have enough time to go into Druids, but do understand that the Druids were in some spiritual stuff, y'all, that they believe that if you call upon a spirit, different types of spirits, it would heal you, it would kill you, it would make you sick. It kind of sounds like witchcraft, but it also, also sounds like some other stuff that I've talked about before with different spirits, different angels teaching us things. So look into the Druids yourself, Druids. Look into the Druids yourself. They were into some shaman religions, and again, shamans, they believe that they get their energy straight from the spirit world, and prophesies to you, and it's all kinds of stuff. So now we go back full circle. Why use the term Hollywood? Because we use it to mock Christ through our pagan activities, Saturnalia, to celebrate the god of Saturn. But this is Christ being crucified. And by the Romans, this is what the Romans was doing. And the Romans crucified Christ. Pontius Pilate. Man, can't make this stuff up, y'all. Stay blessed. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Until next time.